Hey everybody, Dr. Chris Dost here. Welcome back to my channel, Biblical Languages and Literature. In this video, we're going to be analyzing the Hebrew text of Jonah chapter 1 and verse 5. And not only will we be looking at the Hebrew text, the biblical text itself, but we'll also be looking at the relevant Masorah Parva notes. So if you're into Masorah, if you're into textual criticism, this video is for you. Before we get started, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell to be notified when I publish videos in the future, click the like button to help the algorithm and spread word about this channel. And if you would, please consider sharing this video, sharing the link to this video on social media so that other people learn about this video to help support it. And be sure to check out my Patreon page. So if you want to watch the whole, the unabridged version of this video, the whole thing is available on Patreon for members who are subscribing. So far, we're up to 53. I'm hoping that by the end of this month, we're going to be up to 100 members for the Patreon channel, and your paid subscription helps me to continue doing what I'm doing. Really appreciate the support, everybody. Let's get started. All right, so before we actually look at the Hebrew in the Leningrad Codex, we're just going to read it right out of BHS here. We're going to read it fast, slow, and then fast again. All right, so the Hebrew text says, "Vayiru hamalachim vayizuku ish el Elohav vayatilu et hakelim asher ba'oniya el hayam lehakel me'alehem. V'yona yorad el yokte asfina vayishkav vayardam. Vayiru hamalachim vayizaku ish el Elohav vayatilu et hakelim asher ba'oniya el hayam lehakel me'alehem. V'yona yarad el yalkate hasfina vayishkav vayiradam. Vayiru hamalachim vayizuku ish el Elohav vayatilu et hakelim asher ba'oniya el hayam lehakel me'alehem. V'yona yorad el yokte asfina vayishkav vayardam." All right, so let's have a look at the text in the Leningrad Codex. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with biblical manuscripts or have never read the Hebrew out of biblical manuscripts, the Leningrad is an early 11th century manuscript. It is the oldest complete version of the Hebrew Bible that is extant or still in existence. So the Leningrad Codex from the early 11th century CE is the oldest complete extant Hebrew Bible in existence. And it's the basis for most printed editions of the Hebrew Bible. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so the first word, vayiru, and I've circled it for you here so you can find it. I know this is a lot more difficult to read than the printed edition, but if we're really going to get to understand the Hebrew Bible, we need to be familiar with the manuscripts on which our printed editions and ultimately or indirectly our translations are based. And so, vayiru, now they feared, and they feared. So this is a consecutive preterite. It has the vav with the patach with the dagesh in the yud, and that is an indication of the consecutive preterite. So it's advancing the narrative. It's from the root Yud Resh Aleph, and the Yud prefix and the U suffix indicates that we are dealing with a third-person masculine plural. Now they feared, or then they became afraid. I think I prefer that actually. Or then they were frightened. So who was frightened? Hamalachim. The sailors were frightened. So malach, it has the definite article. You see the hey with the patach, with the dagesh in the mem. And the yud mem suffix indicates that it's a masculine plural noun. So we've got the verb, vayiru, the subject, hamalachim, the sailors. So then the sailors became afraid, vayizaku. And now we've got another consecutive preterite. We see the vav, there's a patach under it. It may initially look to you like that's a kamatz, but what appears to be a vertical stroke is actually a cantillation mark or an accent mark above the lamed that's beneath it. So in reality, what we have here is vav with a patach. It has the prefixed yud with a dagesh in it, so we've got a consecutive preterite, vayizaku. The root is zayin, ayin, kuf, which means they cried out. We've got the u, the third plural ending. So now the sailors became afraid or were frightened, and they cried out, ish. Now, ish can mean man, but here it's going to mean each one, each one. Ish el Elohav, each one to, we've got the preposition el, Elohav, his God. The kamatz yud vav suffix is a third person masculine singular pronominal suffix on a plural noun, or for plural nouns. I'll say that again. The kamatz yud vav suffix on Elohav is the third person masculine singular pronominal suffix for plural nouns. The noun here is Elohim, but when we want to attach the third masculine singular pronominal suffix, Elohim becomes Elohav. So, and they cried out, each one to his God, or you could say each one cried out to his God. Vayatilu, now here we've got another consecutive preterite. Now, just going back, vayiru'u is a third masculine plural G-stem consecutive preterite, G-stem. Vayizaku, likewise, is a third masculine plural G-stem consecutive preterite. Now, what about vayatilu? Is that also a G-stem? Well, we see the vav with the patach and the dagesh and the yud. So far, that indicates that it's a consecutive preterite. The yud prefix with an u suffix indicates that it's third person plural. But the vowel pattern is different now. So the long A vowel under the prefix and the I theme vowel indicates that the root is hollow, tet vav lamed, and that this is a C stem, a causative, or we might say an H stem, hifil, whatever you prefer. I'm going to use C stem just because it's something that can be used, it's nomenclature that can be used across Semitic languages. Vayatilu, and they threw, Vayatilu, et hakelim. Et is the definite direct object marker. The definite direct object marker. And hakelim is the definite direct object. Here, kelim means cargo. Hakelim, the cargo. Asher, we've got a relative clause, which, the cargo which, ba'onia. And we would translate this, which was on the ship. Now, there's no verb to be here. It's implied. Asher, which, was is implied, and ba'onia is the word onia for ship. And it has the preposition ba prefix to it, and there's no dagesh. The aleph doesn't take a dagesh, so we have compensatory lengthening under the vowel, which is why there's a kamatz underneath the preposition. El hayam. So they threw the cargo, which was on the ship, into the sea. El hayam. Okay, to the sea. So lehakel is a C-stem infinitive construct. The lamed is kind of the dead giveaway that we're dealing with an infinitive construct. It's in the C-stem, so it gets a hey prefix for the causative. And the root is actually a geminate root. That means we've got doubling. So it's kuf lamed lamed. But the final lamed is not going to be doubled because it's at the end of the word. So the root is kuf lamed lamed. All right, now let's have a look at the relevant Masorah Parva notes. It's my belief that those of us who are in full-time ministry preaching the Bible should be able to identify every feature on at least one page of the Hebrew Bible and one page of the Greek Bible. And if you agree with that philosophy, then we can't help but look at the Masorah Parva notes because they're there on every page of the Leningrad Codex. And the Cercilis that corresponds to this note is placed between Vayizaku ish, which we translated, and each one cried out. Now the note lamed with the dot means that this phrase occurs one time and only one time in the Bible. Now there are verses that have the verb zayin, ayin, kuf followed by the word ish, but you'll see in Judges 3:15, for example, they're not connected, they're not in the same clause. The same is true in Judges 4:10, 1 Samuel 14:20, 2 Samuel 20:4, Jeremiah 48:31, and the only one that shows up in our search is Jonah 1:5, Vayizaku ish. And so this Masorah Parva note is correct. All right, next, on the right side of the page, toward the top, we have another lamed, and the corresponding supercilius is placed over vayatilu. And so that would suggest that the exact form vayatilu occurs only once in the Bible. And if you do a search for that, you will find that that is